that one and create a little bit of shadow created by this upper surface. This drop shadow. Oops, that was too much. Okay. New layer. That's a little bit too dark as well. So we want to make it a little bit brighter, not so dark. Same thing goes for this guy. Okay, putting a little bit more of dark airbrush here. Maybe a little more here. Or actually, no, it's, this is the shape that faces the light source. So yeah, merge them, click, control click, control shift I, delete. Okay, let's see how it works. I think I have to put a little bit more highlight right there. Maybe a little bit darker right here. But not this concave thing, because this is, as we said, this reflects directly or is illuminated directly by the light, so it's really bright right in here. But we can actually make this guy in the background, this wing, a little bit darker to pull out some contrast and to let the exterior pop out a little bit more. So this is a little trick that you can always do if you want something to pop out. Just make the background darker or brighter. It depends. Okay, let's see what else. And we are finished actually with the shading in just a little bit. We could go on and on and on, but because we are limited time and I don't want this tutorial to last 10 hours, I will give me a stop in a little bit. I will have to, unfortunately, because I could go on and on. Switch to the darker one. And let's see. Get a little bit darker. Okay, folks, I think I'm quite happy with the result that we got here. I mean, the shapes are more or less readable, and this is the most important thing. Merge again, click, shift, delete, oops, Control D for deselecting, go out, okay, let's make it a little bit darker so that we can actually see how it looks. Like we do dark, yeah, it looks good, really cool. Okay, one thing, we could make this edge right here a little bit darker. I haven't seen that before. Let's see. Make it darker. Let's zoom out to actually see what we're doing. So again, if you do a really good line drawing, you have no problems with interpreting and creating the shape. You know, right here I was a little bit fuzzy, not precise enough, but I hope it's fair enough for the tutorial. Creating a little bit of highlight there. Darker part. Okay, I think I have to stop right now because otherwise I would work on that forever. So I have to stop myself just a little bit right here. Get a little bit darker. Like that. Okay. All right. Let's zoom out. Okay. Now that we have done the shading part, the next thing that we will do is we will look at the lights actually, and create some nice glowing LEDs or something like that. Okay, so let's see what we can do here. Select the side light, go to effects, auto glow, and let's see. Let's change the color to something like blue. Maybe like that. Make the spread bigger. And maybe like that. Or actually, we have, because this is the light, we have to make it white. And spreads maybe like so. And maybe like so. And take the side light depth and apply the outer glow as well. And now change the color into something like a bluish one. Maybe something like between, something like that. And make it bigger, the spread. Opacity, lower the opacity. And something like, there you go. And let's maybe, you can color pick. This is actually very useful. And let's actually, so this looks pretty good. So nice glowing side light. And we can play around with that a little bit later on. And let's do the same thing with the rear lights. So rear depth, outer glow, and pick that color. And okay, I've heard that one. Go and make the spread and size bigger. Lower the opacity. Make the size bigger. And spread like something like that. Okay. And now the same thing on the rear light. Let's choose this one. Let's make it white actually. This looks much better. Much brighter. Much more dramatic. And it's a lot of playing around and like that, and increase the opacity. Okay. Pretty cool. Maybe lower the size of it. Maybe change it a little bit, the color. I think it's a little bit too. Like that. Change the size of this one. For the spread and make the size bigger. Okay. Alrighty. Let's go back to the exterior for a sec. And let's first merge those guys. Control D, Control Shift I, and delete. And so let's see what else can we do. I think we could actually put a little bit more of contrast and yeah, duplicate this layer maybe and change the mode to something like multiply or linear dodge, and again delete all the areas that we don't want to be influenced. And maybe duplicate that again. Let's see what happens if we make it darker. Or even brighter. It depends on what color we want. Okay, let's go with the white for a second. And let me first put a little bit more of shadow in there. Okay, great. Next thing that we will do is, now we have rendered or shaded the shape. The shape is more or less readable. And now we will go in and create a reflection path. And so for this, I have downloaded a free HDR image that I found on the internet. It's a royalty-free image, so you can use it as well. And this shows actually something like a studio environment. And what I want to do is I increase the size and transform it and rasterize it. And then I will play around with some modes. So let's see what we can do here to actually create some cool looking reflections. Okay, I think soft color was pretty good. Let's actually, yeah, you see how cool that looks. Okay, so now let's take the warp tool, and now we can actually warp it to give it some sort of form, some sort of warp, so that it looks like the DLO is warped. Hit OK. And let's again we don't want any chaos. So create a new folder, call it reflection, bump it in, and let's go to the DLO, control, click, go back to the HDR, control shift I, and delete. And now you see that everything is within the DLO area. Now we take an eraser with a soft brush and delete a little bit of it. Okay, and now we can play around with the opacity. It depends on how strong you want it to be. You know, let's do it like this for the first. And what else? We can increase, of course, this right here, and maybe go to levels and increase the contrast. Good. Go back to the reflection. We have to fix some things here. So let's take an eraser and delete everything that goes beyond the DLO area. Okay, looks pretty good to me. Let's bring it in again and apply the same thing now for the exterior. Okay. So like that, rasterize. Let's see what we did. Soft light. Let's do soft light and check it out. Okay, man, looks pretty good. You see how much it makes a difference if you put this reflection pass on it? It's really, you know, people who are into 3D probably know what I mean. It's like when you render a 3D image and use multipass rendering. It's the same thing. You create, you render multiple passes and then can composite them in a program like Photoshop and have total control over it. So it's really cool. Okay, let's go to exterior and shadow, shape, click, and Control Shift I, delete, and delete everything with a brush, with a soft brush, everything that goes beyond. And you want to keep it a little bit realistic, so it, you know, something like you know, the reflection don't get in here, because this is a complete other shape reflecting something else. Maybe putting that a little bit back and deleting this and go down with the opacity. And we can look how we can change it. Maybe there are other interesting modes that could work. Something like that, for instance. Now that looks interesting. Okay, now for the sake of time, we'll just duplicate it. Maybe that looks even good if we put it up and delete some of this stuff and leave a little bit more of reflection right here. So I like that actually very much. And to duplicate that layer again and pull that here and make it bigger. Or let's actually delete it, because we don't want to put down the same area over and over again, because we want to trick the viewer, right? this. Transform. Oops. Transform. Warp. And you want to go, a little bit correct with the form and with the shape. So it doesn't need to be perfect, of course, but try to match it a little bit. So this line could represent the horizon, which it does actually. Okay. And let's see, what do we have here? Hard light. So let's go to hard light. Let's pull down the opacity, so something like this. And let's warp it even more. Like that. And rasterize it so that you can edit it. And again, shape. Control Shift I, delete. And again, deleting some of the areas that probably won't get that much of reflection. Maybe duplicate it. And I guess this is really eyeballing. Like, how much do you want to actually show of the reflection? So you don't want to do too much, because every time you have a cool effect, use it settled, not too much, like that. Okay. Then let's actually duplicate that one and put it here maybe. And delete everything that we don't want to be reflected. Same thing. Maybe duplicate it again. And once more. Bringing that to the other side. Maybe soft light. Nope, soft light is too bright or too transparent, so go back to hard light. Okay. Okay. Let's see where we have the other reflection. Okay, there it is. Duplicate it and bring it to the other side. Make it smaller. And delete. again, go to the shape, Control click, Control Shift I, and now go through the reflections and delete, 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 delete. Okay, Control D. And let me save that actually. Oh gosh, I haven't saved that. Man, that's quite risky. Okay, save that. Alright.